as we make improvements and provide services to help you succeed. And as far as moving forward, we thought we'd be past the mask at this point and social distancing, but the pandemic continues to be a concern for us. So please respect those in the room and keep your masks on. Before we get into the business of our meeting, I'd like to call Laurie Madowski Shaw to come to the podium and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. This year, Laurie received our 2021 Realtor Salesperson of the Year award for her work and commitment to the real estate profession and to the Central Ohio community. In her 25 years in real estate, she's earned the Lifetime Achievement Award, is listed among the top 1% of Coldwell Banker Realty Associates worldwide, and has served over 1,500 families with sales totaling over $300 million. She's also on our board of directors and has earned the ABR, CRS, ePro, and Performance Management Network designations. On top of that, Laurie serves as a Sunday school teacher, classroom volunteer, is a past member of the Columbus Public Schools I Know I Can Scholarship Board of Directors and the Columbus Public Schools College Financial Aid Committee. Congratulations, Laurie.
Would you please stand and join me in the pledge?
Thank you, Laurie. I've been notified by Secretary Scott Rabchek that the record will show we do have a quorum for this meeting. According to our bylaws, a quorum for the transaction of business at any regular or special meeting of the association shall consist of those members present. If you'll turn to page 3 in your handout, you'll find the minutes from last year's annual business meeting. Are there any corrections? Take some time, but are there any corrections to the minutes? There being no corrections, the minutes stand approved. Now, if you would please review the meeting agenda found on page 1 of your handout. I'd like to call for an approval of the agenda. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. The agenda is approved. At this time, I'd like to recognize our 2021 officers and directors. These dedicated volunteers share their time and talents to improve our Realtor community and are critical to the success of Columbus Realtors. Your officers, President-elect Sue Van Werkum, Treasurer Patty Brown Wright, and Secretary Scott Rabchek. Your directors, Gary Cook, Addie Davis Holsinger, Jeremy Pape, Terry Bryant, Buffy Patterson, Travis Shaw, Jason Hoddle, Ben Hemmert, Laurie Madowski Shaw, Vanessa Simmons, Sean Simpson, Sarah Marty, Brittany Eddy, and Jay Zollers. Thank you for keeping those claps in sequence like that. Great job. Commercial Advisory Board Chair Martha Hunley, Affiliate Director Emily Owens, Immediate Past President Andy Mills. Broker Advisory Council Representative Bob McCarthy, Madison County Director Liz Fincham, Marion County Director Jen Russell, and Marysville Union County Director Rick Balch. Also in the room today is our association attorney, Jack Birch, From Baker Hostetler, and from our accounting firm, Ray and Associates, Brent Ardit. It's now, oh, Sue.
Thank you, President Jones. It's now time for the election of our nominating committee. So let's proceed with the nomination election process for the 2021 Columbus Realtors Nominating Committee, which you'll find on pages 4 through 7 of your packet. Today, you'll be electing this year's Board of Directors Nominating Committee. But before we get to the nominating committee nominations, let's talk about the director election itself. This year, like every year, we will be electing 4 new Realtor directors. Anyone wishing to run for or director position must submit their resume, their signed job description, their completed bio, and their picture to the Columbus Realtors by 5 p.m. tomorrow, October 15th. Now keep in mind, we have advertised this since early September through e-notes, the magazine, 3 e-blasts, and a video. So we're not totally springing it on you. And then the nominating committee went out in a couple of e-notes and some e-blasts. So in order to qualify for any director position, you must have been a member of Columbus Realtors for 3 continuous years immediately preceding this election. And the following criteria will also be considered by the nominating committee when preparing the slate. Service as a member or chair of Columbus Realtors committees, demonstrated support for Columbus Realtors advocacy, such as our foundation, CorePAC, or Realtor Care Day, service to the community, and success in our industry. You'll receive notice of the start of the election on Tuesday, November 2nd, and the online election will be open for 7 days. And in order to receive the online ballot, you must have a valid email address on file with the association. So if you don't see that coming into your email on November 2nd, you'll need to let us know. An email with this information was sent to members yesterday with information by the upcoming director election. So if you did not receive that email, please notify the association's membership department so we can update your email address. I know that there's movement sometimes and changes on email addresses. So now, on to the election of the nominating committee. The nominating committee itself is charged with putting together a slate of qualified candidates for Columbus Realtor directors. This year's nominating committee is made up of 1 past president, those elected Realtor directors whose terms expire this year, and 4 Realtor members at large whom you will elect today. Those elected directors whose terms expire this year include Gary Cook, Addie Davis Holsinger, Jeremy Pape, Andy Mills, and Martha Hunley. Our past president, Chris Reese, has been appointed to a committee to serve as our chair. So today we are charged with selecting 4 at-large members to serve on the nominating committee. These members must be Realtors, but cannot be a current director or a past president. And of course, no member of the nominating committee can run for director. So those elected to the nominating committee must be available for a meeting on Monday, October 18th at 9 a.m. to form the slate of candidates. And then the nominating committee members must also attend a meeting on Tuesday, November 9th at 1 p.m. to ratify the election. Let's go over those dates again, because I know how we are with our calendars. October 18th, 9 a.m., and November 9th at 1 p.m. You have to make those meetings. So make sure you've looked at your calendar before you decide. If you cannot make both of those meetings on October 18th and November 9th, please don't accept the nomination to run for this position. So those wishing to serve on the nominating committee must be present here today, or they have submitted in writing prior to the meeting their willingness to serve if they are elected. Now, your ballot is on page 8 of your handout. So everybody go to page 8 and tear off the blue section at the bottom of the page. And that's where you'll write in your selections. Please understand, only Realtor members may vote on this. Page 8, blue section, bottom of the page. Oh, it's page 7, I'm sorry. Okay, so once you've found your page and you've started to rip that off, we're going to open up the floor for nominations. And as the names are called out, we're going to type them up here on the screen. And I saw Charlotte Van Stein's hand first. Joe Evans. All right. Terry Bryant. Tracy Coe. I'm sorry? Oh, okay. Tracy Coe. In the back corner there. Okay, I saw Joe Jackson, then over here, I'm sorry. Matt Long. I'm sorry, Susan what? Mullinex. Okay, and then we'll come back over this direction. Jeff Wu. Dela? Jensen Spike. I assume someone knows how to spell that. Okay. How about we'll do 2 more? Looking. Okay, back corner, white. Andrew Show, okay. Anybody else? One more. Carol Summers. Okay. Let's close the nominations then. Second. We got Carol Summers was the last one I heard. And Andrew Show. Okay, so we've had a vote to close, or a motion to close the nominations in a second. All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Okay, so there's your slate. Yes. Okay. Is Joe here? Tracy's here? Joe Jackson's here, I saw him. Matt Long submitted in writing, okay. Susan Mullinex is here. Is Jeff Wu here? Okay. Is Jensen Spieth here? Carol's here. Andrew, everybody's here then? Everybody's here. Is everybody on this list willing to serve? Okay. Joe Evans, are you willing to serve? Tracy Coe? Joe Jackson? Matt Long? He's in writing. Susan Mullinex? Jeff Wu? Jensen Spieth? Carol Summers? Andrew Show? Okay, so you've got your slate there and everybody said they're willing to serve. All right, the nominations are closed. Everyone's willing to serve. I need everyone to write on their blue up to 4 names and pass them to one person at your table and they will be collected. You can write up to 4 names on your blue paper and send them to your table and they will be collected. Yes. Affiliates cannot vote, only realtors. Only realtors get to vote on this. I'm sorry, affiliates, as much as we love you, only realtor members get to vote. So only realtor members get to vote. You can write up to 4 names on your blue papers and pass them to one person at your table and they'll be collected. We have people going around and collecting. Have all the votes been collected now? Has everybody had their votes collected? No, Ed's still working. How are we coming on the votes, guys? Let's go about 1 more minute. How are we doing on the votes? Has everybody got their votes written down and collected? Think we're good with that, Michael? All right, now that we've finished with the voting and the ballots have been collected, I'm going to call Patty Brown right up here to continue. Thank you, everyone.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to update you on some membership stats. We started this year with 8,765 members, of which 8,294 were realtors and 471 were affiliate sustaining members. As of September 30th, we are at 9,597 members with a breakdown of 9,128 realtors and 469 sustaining members to show an increase of 9.5% for the year. We are at 1,087 new members in just the first 9 months of 2021. Secondly, there is a change in the annual dues billing process for 2022. As approved by the Board of Directors last month, the annual dues billing will be a 1 payment process. Only 22% of the membership used the 2 payment process last year, and our new membership system vendor does not provide a split payment options. Okay? We have asked our auditor, Brent Ardit, CBA, who is a partner with Ray and Associates, to present a short report on the annual audit and the financial reports for Columbus Realtors and MLS. Brent?
Thank you, Patty. Good afternoon, everybody. Hello. Thank you for that warm greeting. I know, normally I don't get that type of greeting when I come to present this. So as Patty mentioned, at a high level, I'm going to walk through our annual financial statement audit that we performed. So in your packets, starting on page 10, is the independent auditor's report. And usually when I'm presenting this and I'm presenting to the board or management, I always talk about how this letter is really the only letter in the packet or the financial statements that's ours. And it's basically our opinion on the financial statement. So I want to walk through this. So the first paragraph there where it says report on the financial statements, that's basically describing what we audited. So you can see we're auditing the consolidated financial statements of the Columbus Association of Realtors and subsidiaries, which is MLS. So this is consolidated with both entities. You can see it's comparative, so it's as of December 31st, 2020 and 2019. Second paragraph there is management's responsibility. That's essentially what I just spoke about. Ultimately, it's management's responsibility for these financial statements. Having proper internal controls, procedures in place, that's all management's responsibility. And then the next paragraphs there are our responsibility. So our responsibility is to express an opinion on the financial statements to obtain reasonable assurance that the financial statements are free of material misstatements. So you're hearing these terms like reasonable assurance, material misstatement. So we're not looking to obtain absolute assurance. We're not looking, at every single transaction that's flowing through either entity. I think Corey down there, I think he'd go crazy if I was asking to look at every single transaction. Obviously not efficient or effective to do that. So when we're developing auditing procedures, there's certain risk assessment processes that we go through. So certain line items we're looking at with a bit more scrutiny than others. So a lot of jargon there, but that's essentially what those paragraphs are speaking to. And then the last paragraph there is our opinion. So in our opinion, the financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects. So if you flip the page there, pages 11 and 12, page 11 is the consolidated statements of financial position. For those kind of for-profit minded folks in the room, that's a balance sheet. And this is obviously at a point in time. So you can see as of December 31st, 2020 and 2019. And as I just mentioned, we're not looking at every single line item here with the same level of scrutiny as some others. But obviously, with large cash balances, certificates of deposit, marketable securities, obviously larger dollar amounts on the asset side, we're gonna pay a bit closer attention to those, making sure reconciliations are performed, those sorts of things. Same thing on the liability side, some of the larger dollar amounts, just making sure that those are reported correctly. There's no cutoff issues on things should be reported inside or outside the reporting period. And then flipping the page there to page 12. Again, this is the consolidated statements of activities and changes in net assets, essentially your profit and loss statement. So this is the activity throughout the year for 2020 and 2019 comparative. You can see on the revenue side, a number of different revenue streams there. We take a different approach to each line item as far as testing is concerned. Very similar on the expense side as well. So you can see kind of third line from the bottom, change in net assets. And again, this is, for the year ended December 31st, 2020, had a change in net assets or, a positive income there of 903,000. So a very strong year, very, very positive year. The remaining pages, starting on page 13 through 16, are the interim financial statements for the association and then MLS. Very similar, have the balance sheet for both, have a profit and loss statement for both. Those are as of May 31st, 2021. These are unaudited, so we have not come in and audited these numbers. What I would say, though, is when we did perform our audit, we did not identify any significant entries that needed to be made to the financial statements. So when you're looking at interim financial information that we haven't audited, you should feel pretty comfortable that the numbers that you're looking at are accurate. In June of 2021, there was an accounting software change. So management right now is going through that process. There's been some account changes, some structure type changes in reporting. So that's why these are through May 31st. And again, management's working through the reporting and wanting to see that comparative. It just made sense to go through May 31st there. But you can see both with the association and MLS still continue to be in a very strong position from a cash perspective, reserve perspective. Total net worth or net assets increased, over the prior year. So all good things. Both organizations are in a very strong financial position. Any questions, comments, concerns? Otherwise, I'll pass it back over to Patty here with a few closing comments.
Okay, I'm back here again. I just wanted to close with a few things and tell you a little bit about the financials. Our association's financials are audited every year by an outside CPA firm. The past 12 years, the audit has been completed by the CPA firm of Ray and Associates. The Budget, Finance, and Investment Committees, which includes some members at large, review our budget, the annual audit, and the IRS returns, and they periodically meet with our investment manager. Finally, members are welcome to review all the association's financial reports, including the annual audit and IRS returns. Any member wishing to do so is welcome to contact me and Corey at the Columbus Association office. Okay, all right, thank you. Michael?
Okay. Thank you very much, Patty and Brent. Last year was certainly one for the books, and I think we can all attest to that, right? We've spent quite a bit of time learning how to navigate in a semi-post-pandemic era. Although we've faced many new challenges, looking back, we have much to be thankful for. Before we get into the reports, please get out your phones. I don't have mine up here, but I've already done it. Please take out your phones, your cell phones. I want to see everybody looking for your phone. Everybody have their phones handy? I'd like you to text the word Realtors with an S. Realtors to 30644. Again, Realtors with an S to 30644. This will sign you up for the Realtor Party text alert system so that you can help strengthen the real estate industry and protect your livelihood, our livelihood. You'll receive a call for action once or twice annually, so it's not going to be overly burdensome for you. And if you text Realtors to 30644 by November 22nd, you'll have a chance to win one of 10 $100 Amazon gift cards. So it's a no-brainer. You can help protect your livelihood and potentially win a $100 gift card from Amazon. So we encourage all of our membership to do that. It's something important for the Ohio Realtor level and the NAR level. So please do that if you haven't already done so. And by the way, if you were already signed up, if you sign up again now, you will still be entered for the drawing. As you all know, I'm sure, we separated from our CEO earlier this year, and the CEO search committee has been hard at work. We've had our first interview with our internal candidate. Additionally, our outside consultant has conducted a behavioral assessment. Those results have been reviewed and discussed with the consultant, as well as among our committee. A unanimous decision was made to advance the candidate to another review process that will consider input from colleagues and others considered integral to understanding the position and role. Thank you for your continued patience and support as our group works diligently to complete the vetting process for our next CEO. Now we'll talk a little bit about market activity. Real estate has been and remains the foundation for wealth building among the middle class and a critical link in the flow of goods and services and income for millions of Americans. Accounting for over 15% of the Ohio gross state product, the real estate is clearly a major driver for the U.S. economy. Did you know that one home sold puts $61,500 back into the state's economy? That's a huge number. And every single family home built produces 2.9 jobs and $130,000 in tax revenue for Central Ohio alone. So real estate is helping to repair the economic damage caused by the virus-induced shutdown last year. And 2021 has been setting records in that department for us. Although inventory has been decreasing for the better part of the last 12 years, we've spent year over year with gains during the last 3 months as well. The added inventory helped fuel sales as we saw our highest numbers of home sales for any month on record in August just recently. And record high contracts helped us to see gains in September. September sales, which will be released next week. Year to date, we've seen 13 to 14% increases in sales compared to last year. An average price of a home is now just shy of $300,000. The time it takes to sell a home has always depended on several factors, particularly price, as you can see from this chart. However, high demand for housing this year has resulted in significantly reduced market time for homes in all price points. As you well know, unusually high demand for homes and lack of sufficient inventory has resulted in homes selling for more than the asking price in many cases. The share of homes that sold for less than list price and those that sold for more than the list price were about the same in early 2021. However, homes sold for more than asking price escalated quickly and peaked this summer. 3 out of every 5 homes closed in August sold for more than the home was listed for. On to talk about education now. Education is the bedrock of our profession. As an investment in knowledge, it pays the best interest. So far in 2021, Columbus Realtors has provided almost 3,800 members 273.5 hours of continuing education via 100 classes. And 86 of those classes were presented at no charge as a member benefit. On the screen, you'll find upcoming classes you won't want to miss. We're fortunate to have such great folks in charge of our education programs, both commercial education, Chair David Coe, and residential education Chair Chris Harrington, and their commitments. They've done an outstanding job of providing quality programming this year, and we really want to thank you. I don't want to miss a personal opportunity to thank you, Kelly Bright, our professional development director, who's done a stunning job. We really appreciate all that you do, so thank you. Now let's talk about the Leadership Academy. Last month, we graduated our 9th class from the Leadership Academy, the purpose of which is to nurture the skills of potential industry and community leaders. Bear in mind that these grads started in 2019, and their session was interrupted by the pandemic. So it was almost an unusual experience for them, and we're so glad we can complete their program finally. 2021 grads, if you're in the audience, please stand when I call your name. Cody Butler, Ryan Conway, Jeff Kottner, Lisa Evelyn, Carrie Eigel, Greg Coleman, Betsy McClowski, Stephanie Rosinski, Vanessa Simmons, and Mark Van Stein. So proud of you all. Thank you. You guys are truly great leaders, and congratulations on completing the class at this point. If you're a graduate of any leadership academy class, please stand. This is usually the fun part. Columbus Realtors has done a great job graduating folks through the Leadership Academy. So congratulations to you all. And our 10th class of the Leadership Academy candidates has recently begun their journey. If you're in the audience, please stand when I call your name. Carol Brinley, Amy Davis, Shannon Grimm, Darlene Kuzmic, Kim Mills, Denise Payne, Edward Sanchez, hang tight, Tina Schreck, Nikki Wicks, and Julie Woodson. Congratulations. You're off to a great start. This is an incredible program, and we're so proud to be able to offer this opportunity to all of our members. Now let's talk about our new membership portal. You heard mention of that just a little bit ago, our new membership system that we're very excited to put into place. We did that this summer, so some of you might have experienced some of the transition and paying dues or signing up for classes. I have to tell you that the migration has presented quite a few challenges. It was an incredible undertaking for your association staff, and they're still going through it quite a bit. However, it allowed us to fully integrate member accounting, class registration, class history, events, committee meetings, etc. And it provided us the opportunity to offer you our new member portal, a one-stop shop for all of your membership needs. Take a look at this video.
Hi there. Today we will be talking about the all-new Columbus Realtors member portal. The username to log into your member portal is your license number. Aren't sure of your password? Email our communications specialist at tking@columbusrealtors.com.
Click the edit button to add or change your photo, password, social profile links, credit card on file, and languages you speak. Here you will find information such as the latest news on elections, cancellations, deadlines, etc.
The quick links section of the member portal is where you can find links to useful web pages and resources.
By clicking on Pay Now under the Account Balances section, members can pay dues and fees all in one area. Under this section you will also find a button that will allow you to make a foundation contribution.
Towards the top of the screen you will see a calendar button, which is one of the few places members can go to view all of our upcoming classes, events and meetings. Beside that you will also see a connect button. This will allow you to search for other members and retrieve their contact information.
One of the other places members can go to view upcoming events is here.
Another great feature of our member portal is the Education tab at the top of the screen. Here you can view the history of classes you have taken at Columbus Realtors. Over here on the left side of the screen, you will see your schedule. This is where your upcoming meetings, as well as classes and events you've registered for, will be listed.
Under upcoming courses you can view all of the offerings we have here at Columbus Realtors.
Last but not least, we have the committees section off to the right side.
Here is where you can view all of the committees you are a part of here at Columbus Realtors.
That's a wrap.
Thanks for letting us show you around our new portal. We hope you are as excited as we are about all the features it has to offer.
If you have any questions or need help retrieving your password, please email our communications specialist at tking@columbusrealtors.com.
So I have to tell you, I asked for a wow video, and Tiffany King, who's here, our communications specialist, did a great job. Thank you, Tiffany. Love the video, great presentation. I'm sure our members will learn to kind of navigate that process. Later this year, we'll be launching SSO, which stands for Single Sign-On. This will enable you to log into the member portal and to get to forms, RPR, and MLS just from one single login. One central point of access, one login coming soon. We're pretty excited about that, and I think it's in December that should be launched. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about our annual partnership program, which was recently approved by our board of directors. Always trying to improve and innovate and offer our partners more opportunities to get involved with membership. I'm happy to announce the creation of the Columbus Realtors Annual Partnership Program. Designed to make budgeting for the year easier for our brokers, affiliates, and vendors, this package bundles the many events and networking opportunities available throughout the year. With a variety of levels, sponsors have the option of sponsoring the association's signature events, such as the Joint Industry Forecast Luncheon, Foundation Wine Tasting, as well as unique program bundles like the Community Impact Bundle or YPN Bundle. The program aims to both streamline and support and ensure sponsors receive the same level of recognition for each event. Annual partnership packages are available now through December 31st of this year. Now through December 31st for 2022. Sponsors will continue to have the opportunity throughout the year to support individual events as they arise. Please see the second to last page of your packet for specific details about the program, or reach out to Ida Sater at Columbus Realtors. We would not be able to support such great events and programming throughout the year without our sponsors, and we look forward to being able to make your support even easier. Now, we're going to call on some members. I'd like to hear from some folks for diversity. We've been working hard to serve and protect you this year. We'll start with the Diversity and Equity and Inclusion Committee. So I'll call upon Co-Chair Joshua Nungesser to come to the podium.
Hey, good afternoon, guys. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee was renamed Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee. It was previously Diversity and Inclusion Committee. Thank you, Michael. Our mission this year was to create a community where we accept and celebrate the differences of everyone. Toward this mission, the committee has completed the following activities with a spotlight on educating our committee members with the end goal of them spreading the learning across each of our individual spheres, brokerages, and businesses. We did this through inclusion of our committee members, immersing them in subcommittees. We have 4 separate subcommittees that helped us produce what you're about to hear. We'll get into those in a moment. First, we kicked off the year with Bill Dedman, one of 4 lead reporters on the Newsday's undercover investigation of racial steering by real estate agents in Long Island, New York. This virtual forum was co-hosted by the CR Education Department, provided CE, and drew over 200 members. It also included a fair housing panel discussion with representatives from the Ohio Civil Rights Commission, Ohio Housing Finance Agency, Realogy/Coldwell Banker Realty, Columbus Realtist Association, and Columbus Realtors. We also are proud to host 2 virtual book club conversations with Dr. Eddie Glaude Jr., author of Begin Again. If you attended it, it was an awesome event. Another one with R. Shea Cooper, author of A Most Beautiful Thing. For those 2 events, NAR, we received 2 NAR Fair Housing grants to help offset the cost of bringing those 2 authors. Lastly, on the book club conversations, we received national recognition that have been selected to be included in NAR's Fair Housing Toolkit, which highlights outstanding projects along with tips and best practices to inspire and ease the way for other state and local associations to follow suit. Our subcommittees this year created 2 minority-owned business spotlight videos aimed at educating our committee members on vendor partners that we have access to in our communities that are minority-owned. Featuring James Jones, founder and owner of Home and Commercial Inspections, LLC, and Zuline Adams, CEO of Z Promotions. We also created a cultural video with Joe Galeno, a very successful residential and commercial broker in Princeton, New Jersey, who is an Italian-American and taught us all how to better be fiduciaries for our Italian-American clients. We created 2 infographics highlighting our committee projects, which along with the videos will be housed on our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion webpage. We are also working with the Education Committee to possibly co-host an implicit bias CE event in the near future. And last but not least, I want to invite you all on November 16th from 1:30 to 2:30. We're hosting a Zoom conversation with Miss Audra Bohannon, a diversity, equity, and inclusion expert at Korn Ferry based in the firm's Boston office. We anticipate a very insightful, informative, candid conversation and invite you all to join us. Thank you.
Have to bring it down. Josh is a little taller than me. Thank you, Josh. Kanisha Cunningham and Brent Dybert, could you join me at the podium? Kanisha and Brent are your co-chairs for the Housing Affordability and Community Partnership Committee, and they are going to provide an update on their activities.
Good afternoon. My name is Kanisha Cunningham, a realtor with Caldwell Banker Realty, and this is my co-chair, Brent Dybert. Thank you, Kanisha. All right, so we co-chaired what was previously known as the Affordable Housing Committee. And this year, what we did is we renamed the committee to Housing Affordability and Community Partnership Committee. We also changed our vision committee description to continue to grow partnerships with community stakeholders to educate and influence the advancement of housing affordability, which we felt was a more concise statement that better aligns with the name change and the committee's commitment to stepping outside the association to become more involved with our community partners and community events.
Pardon me. In addition, the affordable housing benchmark, the sales price that is used for affordable housing in Columbus, Ohio, was raised using the predetermined formula to $215,000. Additionally, we updated the webpage on the affordable housing portion of Columbus Realtors in order to be more of a one-stop shop where you can click on links in regards to affordable housing programs and find our new lender matrix that we created in regards to affordable housing loan programs from our member lenders. Additionally, we updated the list of certified affordable housing realtors, certification holders, and grew our Facebook page to over 300 subscribers. Additionally, we held several informative forums with the purpose of bringing community members in to talk to our group.
So the first forum that we held was our lender panel forum, and we had several lenders come in and talk about their different lending capabilities to our affordable housing community, being Randy Sims with Premier Nationwide Lending, Kathy Ortega Contreras with First Merchants Bank, Mike Evans with First Financial Bank, Lance Strong with Huntington Bank, Jarvis Woodson and Dan Jenkins with Savista Bank, and Daniel Prond, Columbus Mortgage Bankers.
In our next forum, we had Speaker Kay Wilson with Impact Community Action, who's the Director of Strategies. We had her come in and speak about the programs that they offered and learned that they were one of 48 community action agencies in Ohio and one of 1,100 nationally. Their goal is really being the front line on the war to poverty, and the impacts programs and services have evolved over time in order to help people move from crisis to stability, from stability to empowerment, from empowerment to self-sufficiency.
And the next forum that we held was with Susan Colbert, the program director of the OSU Extension Center. And she talked about the center's work to improve the quality of life for all Central Ohio residents throughout research, service, and training, including homebuyers education and training, financial literacy coaching, basic investment strategies, student loan debt, renters education, and Super Savers Club. Ms. Colbert also expressed an interest in working together with the Housing Affordability and Community Partnership Committee on various projects in the future.
Our next presentation was Speakers from the Franklin County Land Bank, specifically the Central Ohio Community Land Trust, with host Paxton, the Vice President, coming in to speak with us. They talked about their programming and housing programs. It gives a brief overview of the program, stating that the Community Ohio Land Trust is a subsidiary of the Central Ohio Community Improvement Corporation in Franklin County Lands Bank. They provide homes for sale to income eligible home buyers throughout a leasehold interest mortgage.
And next we had James Jones with Home and Commercial Inspections LLC, who is the founder and owner of the company. And he led the discussion on what he's seeing in the marketplace and the feedback he's getting from clients on situations like pre-list inspections used to expedite the home buying process, appraisers requesting environmental and specialty inspections, which can pause the transaction moving forward, folks conducting walkthrough instead of doing home inspections, and how these situations are changing the way his company writes the home inspection reports and the way appraisers have changed their outlook on their liability.
The following speaker was Daniel Ruggiero from Homes on the Hill, the Assistant Director of Counseling and Educational Programs. He came in to talk to us about his HUD-approved counseling programs and what they offer in regards to community development. Their services include pre- and post-purchase homebuyers education, foreclosure and eviction prevention programs, financial capabilities, and the Landlord Engagement Action Network, as well as affordable housing development.
Next, we had the Ohio Housing Financing Agency, Jonathan Dewey, in to speak to our group. He is a single family relationship manager, and he shared with us some information about OFA's first time down payment assistance program, stating that there are 3 important items to know about OFA. Their funds are always available. Number 2, their homeownership programs can be used anywhere in the state of Ohio, and all lenders are not OFA participating lenders. They have about 150 lenders throughout the state of Ohio, and you can find a list of those participating lenders at myohiohome.org. Jonathan also talked about the down payment assistance programs and the process for applying for that assistance.
For our October meeting, we had Janine Hooks from the Columbus Urban League come in and speak with us. She talked about their financial empowerment services and the availability of individuals that encourage economic self-sufficiency, family stabilization, homeless prevention services, and additional offers of other programs and activities for fair housing and financial entitlements. Homebuyers education and housing stabilization programs.
So throughout the year, our committee also supported and participated in the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee's book club conversations. And we also hosted a booth at the Franklin County Auditor's Office Affordable Housing Fair on August 15th of this year at the Linden Community Center. So our next meeting, it will be via Zoom, and it is set for Friday, November 12th at 10 a.m. And we would love to have you all join us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kanisha and Brent. The theme that I keep hearing as some of these committee reports come in is somewhat of an overlap, which is really nice. We find them working collaboratively and collectively together, so I like that a lot. Martha Hunley, if you could please step up. You're already ahead of me. Martha is your Commercial Advisory Board Chair, and she will let you know more about what the commercial members have been working on so far this year. Thank you, Martha.
Hello, I'm Martha Hunley. I'm with Keller Williams Commercial Division, and I was the chair of the advisory board this year. And there are 5 committees that are comprised in the Commercial Advisory Committee or Board. The first one we're going to start with is the Commercial Education Committee. Chair David Poe and Liaison Kelly Bright have had a really busy year. With Kelly's help, they started the year with online classes, and but they eventually got back in person. They've conducted 13 classes thus far this year, including tax-free exchange, clear title issues, broker opinion of value, introduction to commercial real estate, and 6 core classes. Classes in November include ethics and fair housing, and 2 classes are being rescheduled, the orientation to commercial real estate and ethics. The new dates will be announced in November. The commercial internship program is reaching out to commercial member brokerages to sponsor interns in 2022. Our last intern worked at NAI Ohio Equities this past summer, and his story was featured in July and September issues of the In Contract magazine. Dan Sheeran and David Coe will be attending a virtual career fair at Ohio Dominican in October, where they hope to identify a number of eligible students to enter in 2022. David Coe will also be attending the November NAR conference in San Diego. Moving on to the commercial member services, Chair Frank Bullen and Liaison Brandy Margutch have led the membership committee in a very busy year, adding 5 new preferred vendors, including cleaning firms, restoration, security, and an HVAC firm. The committee has expanded the commercial preferred vendors from 4 in 2017 to 20. Also, they have interviewed or reviewed 4 new commercial applications this year. The Commercial Recognition Committee, the Recognition Committee is chaired by Corey Tabor, organized a successful in-person awards evening this summer. The committee was challenged with the ever-changing standards on COVID, but a survey of our members demonstrated that the desire was to have the event in person. We were able to still conduct a safe and compliant evening with recognizing the leaders, the top producers in our industry. The committee will be again, challenged this year, and we're hoping to have an in-person event the first or second quarter of 2022 to recognize this year's top producers. Then moving on to the COSI Governing Committee, was chaired by Brian Irwin. Central Ohio Commercial Information Exchange, or COSI, has been the resource for commercial real estate data since 2005. The goal is to provide a database for all Columbus Realtor members. Catalyst is the preferred vendor of COSI. They are a research company that updates listings and property information. There are currently 365 subscribing members. Catalyst conducts quarterly advisory board meetings and with top office and industrial brokerages. The meetings result in a market report used by commercial members and Columbus Realtors. And last but not least is the Commercial Standard Forums. This was chaired by Joe Jackson. The committee is in the process of visiting the commercial purchase contract. Watch for the C notes for the launch. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha. Now I'd like to call upon Carrie Eigel. She's the chair of our Government Affairs Forum. If you could come to the podium, here you come, to share some information that I'm sure you'll all appreciate.
Good afternoon, everyone. First, I want to thank President Michael Jones for asking me to chair our Government Affairs Forum this year. It's truly been an honor. Over the last year, we've all faced a lot of issues, and I'd be remiss if I didn't start with this. If you represented a buyer or a seller, residential or commercial, during the pandemic, during the stay-at-home portion of the pandemic, you can thank your local and state associations for ensuring that real estate was deemed essential in the state of Ohio. Our friends in Pennsylvania and that state up north were not as lucky. Their markets and income came to a screeching halt, and for some that lasted for months. Not only was real estate deemed essential in Ohio as part of our advocacy efforts, but it should be noted that we lobbied to keep county offices such as the recorder and the auditor also open for business so that transactions could safely occur. Let me begin with some of the issues we've been working on this year at the local level. First has been the City of Columbus Housing for All legislation. This package included 3 pieces of legislation, most notably the source of income as a protected class portion. It was my goal to host a government affairs forum on this, but the city is still working on implementation and enforcement. For those unfamiliar, the City of Columbus passed this legislation in March, so it is law. The law protects renters from discrimination based on income, including Social Security, child support, spousal support, housing choice vouchers, and other lawful means of payment. Simply put, housing providers in Columbus, Reynoldsburg, and Bexley may not say, "We don't accept Section 8." The law still allows landlords the ability to screen all applicants equitably and deny housing to those who do not meet other eligibility criteria. The source of income protection provides opportunities, especially for households utilizing the housing choice voucher. It's important to remember it is law, yet the city continues to work on implementation and enforcement. Egregious cases of discrimination against this new protected class can be prosecuted. As soon as we can provide additional information and education on implementation, enforcement, and compliance, we will. I should also note that with the change in law, the MLS Committee and Board of Directors has removed the Section 8 field from residential rental properties to protect our members from potential legal violations. In April, our government affairs staff was notified by many of our members regarding changes to how Franklin County Auditor was handling rental registries. According to Ohio Revised Code, any county over 200,000 residents is required to retain a residential rental registry. Specifically, Ohio Revised Code 5323 states, an owner of residential rental property shall file with the county auditor of the county in which the property is located the following information: the name, address, and telephone number of the owner. Under previous county auditors, they allowed a property manager to register as the owner. Now, we know our property managers serve as the point of contact for their clients, so this was a big change to procedure. After several legal discussions, the Franklin County Auditor is in accordance with state statute. We've worked with the auditor's office to continue to allow for property managers to register as part of the form, but the owner's information is still required as directed by Ohio law. Another big update is the restrictive sign ordinances in the city of Dublin. Dublin passed language that no longer allows for commercial real estate signs to exceed 4x4 or 16 square feet. More troubling is that these signs cannot be up for longer than 90 days. And then they cannot be put up for another 365 after those 90 days occur. I hear the grumblings. Can you imagine if we were in commercial real estate? That's a real huge problem. We are in continuous conversations with the City of Dublin and our commercial members to find a compromise. In fact, last week there was a meeting with Dublin's outside attorneys and another meeting with our commercial members to generate solutions to this legislation. We remain hopeful that this restrictive ordinance will be amended. We've continued to have a lot of questions surrounding community development authorities. In response to MLS questions and advocacy questions, we're actually holding a government affairs forum with the Delaware County Auditor, George Kaitza, this Monday, October 18th at 9 a.m. at Columbus Realtors on the topic of community development authorities. As we do every year, our CORPAC governing board takes the time to send political candidates questionnaires and interview candidates for election. This year, the governing board interviewed candidates for Columbus City Council, Grandview Heights City Council, Orange Township trustees, along with other positions. This was my first time participating in this process, and it was extremely eye-opening to see how the Core PAC dollars are spent. One candidate for Columbus City Council commented, the Core PAC process was one of the most professional and well-prepared groups that I've met with. I want to take a moment to let you all know that the governing board adheres to our bylaws and follows the process of selecting candidates. It's with great pride that I point to the general election slate card found in your packet on page 23, that the Core PAC, along with our PAC, is truly bipartisan and supports candidates who support our issues, meaning realtor and housing issues. We conduct these interviews because now more than ever, we need candidates who support realtor issues and consumers. There are referendums in several townships and communities throughout Central Ohio to stop development. There are even completely anti-development candidates running for office, which will all but halt development in their respective communities. To be clear, Columbus Realtors is not pro all development. We are pro responsible development. Just yesterday, our Government Affairs Advocacy Committee approved a motion to recommend the Board of Directors support vote no on issue 7. Issue 7 affects the city of Columbus. This will be discussed at next week's Board of Directors meeting. However, it's important enough that we need to discuss it here today. Issue 7 is on the November general election ballot. Issue 7 is a proposed ballot issue, which, if passed, would take $87 million out of the city of Columbus's general fund and give it to a secretive group formed out of state. To be clear, this is $87 million out of the city's budget that will go to a group of people passed with zero oversight. If passed, this would require immediate cuts of $87 million to city workers and to city services. $87 million is 11% of the city of Columbus's budget, which would cause cuts from the capital budget, which means no new street resurfacing, sidewalks, streetlights, or fire trucks in 2022. This group, Pro Energy Ohio LLC, wants to take our city's revenue out of state and would control how most of the money is spent. City Attorney Zach Klein has said the issue is so vague, it's difficult to know where the money could go. Our Columbus Realtors Issue Advocacy Committee has requested a full endorsement of a no vote on issue 7 from the Board of Directors, while also approving significant funding from Core PAC to help educate the local community on the ramifications of this ballot initiative. If I haven't been clear, if you live in the city of Columbus, I strongly encourage you to consider voting no on issue 7. With my time running short, I want to highlight a few of the issues from the state level that were highlighted at the recent Ohio Realtors Convention without getting into too much detail. Ohio Realtors had a lot of wins in the Ohio operating budget, one of them being real estate related license transfers moving to an online platform. We're finally catching up, folks. That in and of itself deserves a big hallelujah. Additionally, discriminatory covenants on deed restrictions are more easily removed, and there was a passage of residential broadband expansion, which when everyone was working from home and our kids were taking school from home, we realized how horrible it was, so that's great. Our local government affairs staff and Ohio Realtors government affairs staff continue to address and lobby on the issues of commercial property valuation challenges. Beth Wanless from Ohio Realtors just issued an update last week, and I quote, "In late September, Ohio Realtors testified in front of the Senate Ways and Means Committee to push for passage of House Bill 126. The legislation would add much needed reform and transparency to the property valuation complaint system. Current law allows a property owner, certain agents of the owner, and political subdivisions, including school boards, to challenge a property's value for tax purposes. The goal of the challenge is to increase the assessed value of the property in an effort to increase property taxes. A complaint against the property is filed after the county auditor has done their work to assess the properties and without prior knowledge of the property owner. The vast majority of these complaints are filed against commercial and industrial properties, but recently we have heard from realtors across Ohio that more home values are being challenged. Ohio is one of the very few states that allow someone other than the property owner to challenge value for tax purposes. Of these states, Ohio has by far the most egregious and loosely written law, which has led to the creation of a cottage industry where attorneys working for school boards file challenges against thousands of unsuspecting commercial and residential properties. Recently, I heard a quote that has stuck with me, and I know it's true. Roughly 40% of realtor members invest in CorePac. 100% of realtors benefit from CorePac. As you can see with our update, and I didn't even touch on the federal level involving eviction moratoriums and possible exchanges of 1031 like-kind exchange, possible changes of 1031 like-kind exchange, that our government affairs staff is very busy. I'll wrap up by saying this. Our association and our members are working on your behalf because, as we all know, if we don't have a seat at the table, you're on the menu. As realtors, we must remain engaged and active in order to preserve and defend public policies that allow us to serve our consumers in a business-friendly environment. Thank you all for your time. I'm stealing your speech.
Thank you very much, Carrie. Next up, we have the MLS report. So I'd like to have Jeremy Pape, the chair of the MLS Board of Directors, and Tony Macaluso, chair of the MLS Committee. Tell us what they've been doing this year and what's in store for your multiple listing service.
Thanks, President Jones. Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, hi. We need some weight. I was told to keep this really short too. Thanks, Brent. But yeah, we'll keep it short and we'll bore you too. But no, thanks. I've had the privilege of being the chair of the MLS Board of Directors this year and been on the Board of Directors for 3 years now. Time has flown by. Tony is up here. He is the chair of the MLS Committee and he'll be boring you with a little bit more information than I'll give you. I want to say thanks to Columbus Realtor staff. You guys all know how hard they work and sometimes they're not appreciated as much as they should be. Thanks, President Jones. Matt Warren, this is your gig. Thank you for helping with all our meetings. And Tony and Brent, thank you too for all the Robert's rules and keeping me on track, on time. He geeks out on that stuff. So we've got 3 items on the MLS Board of Directors to talk about: the governance task force, the Marion merger, and the MLS strategic plan. The governance task force is charged with addressing issues relating to the MLS, including governing documents, structure, voting seats of the MLS committee, anticipated mandates relating to the DOJ settlement. It was moved that the government task force be developed for the MLS. Motion was seconded and passed. I want to thank Bob McCarthy. He is appointed to serve as the MLS governance task force. He'll work with me, President Jones, and the committee chair, Tony, to appoint members to serve on this task force. Second item is the Marion merger. Not much to say here, but it is complete. So we welcome the Marion members to Columbus Realtors. It was stated that their county would be named Marion County Realty Association which allows them a seat at the Columbus Realtors Board of Directors. The last piece is the MLS strategic plan. Two parts to it. I don't want to bore you with this one, but the purpose and core competencies, three parts to it: data and analytics, deliver trusted, complete, timely, and useful real estate data and analytics. Number two, support, deliver trainings, content, and support, focus on standards, knowledge, and utilization. And the last one is the real estate solutions, deliver innovative business and marketplace technologies, tools, and resources. The value statement is the second part of the MLS strategic plan. 5 points to the MLS value statement, strategic plan value statement. Number one, execute an MLS specific communication and engagement plan. Two, evaluate and enhance data collection, storage, and utilization. Number three, align MLS rules, compliance, and auditing processes. And number four, upgrade and promote public-facing tools and resources. And lastly, modernize MLS structures and operations for greater efficiency and performance. I told you I'd bore you with that stuff, but that's it for my report. I'm going to turn this over to Tony. He is the chair of the MLS committee.
Jeremy, thank you very much. And Gretchen, hello. Hi. I'd like to start off by thanking Michael Jones for appointing me to this position. I've enjoyed it greatly. Thank you, Michael. And thank you to Sue Van Workum, who is the chairperson prior to me, who showed me how to run this committee. And thank you very much for that. I'd also like to thank the staff. They have served us very well and made sure we got through the meetings appropriately. And also I see a lot of the committee members here in the audience. So thank you guys very much for taking your time to being here with us today. All right, with that being said, let's get into a couple of the updates we made into the MLS this year. I know you guys have been a part of it, so hopefully you've noticed most of these as we've gone through. The first one we came about with this year is there was a rash of inappropriate language that was put into the MLS. So we had no mechanism to put a stop to that, so we created two different, one rule and one policy. Rule number 4.5.1 that says the staff has the ability to remove that from any portion of the MLS, not just remarks or agent to agent, but all the open fields in there. The staff has the ability to use their discretion. They have that anything that does not live up to the professional standards of the Realtors Code of Ethics can be pulled down from there. And there's also a potential fine that would come along with that. There is no warning for this fine. It's $100 for the first offense, $200 for the second offense, and $500 for the third offense. All right, getting into the brokerage exclusive form, formerly known as the office exclusive form. Clear Cooperation made that a little bit different, and it was kind of undefined well before being office exclusive, but it always is available to be shared. A listing prior to being put in the MLS is available to be shared with your entire brokerage. So there was a name change to that. We also added the Clear Cooperation. Jeremy, help out here anytime you want. Thank you. Clear cooperation language into that form. No member of the public is familiar with that, so they can at least see the one paragraph breakdown that says we're not allowed to market it, blah, blah, blah. That is on the form, so you should see a change to that. There's other MAR mandated policies and regulations that have been passed down to us. We've implemented those, and we do expect more of those become in 2022. Nothing of note, but keep in mind that we are keeping in line with what NAR is asking us to do. We began a Clear Cooperation Task Force. It started as a highest and best task force, as was pointed out by Michael earlier. Majority of homes are selling for well over list price, and the multiple offers that were coming in were up 30s and 40 sometimes. So we wanted to try and help out with that, put together some guidance. That turned into the Clear Cooperation Task Force, which is tried to put some more guidance out just to make sure everyone's complying within the laws. That's an ongoing task force that you guys will continue to hear information from. We made a change to the basement field in the MLS. It used to be you could have a full basement and a crawl space, which physically just isn't possible. So now those two are mutually exclusive. So if you have a full basement, there cannot be part of it that's a crawl space. And if you have a full crawl space, there cannot be part of it that's a full basement. So those are now mutually exclusive. So that is changing, if not already, very soon. changing the status field. Contingent finance and inspection is gone. Those weren't always accurate. We were marking things contingent finance inspection that may not be contingent on inspection and just financing. So we've corrected that. So it just says contingent. You have an open field to mention what the contingencies are. Let's see, MLS policy 10216, adding verbiage to, adding the showing time to the active field. We always had a policy on the books of saying any active listing must be available immediately for showing. There wasn't much definition to that, so we tried to add some language in there that says that if you turn a property from coming soon to active or listed as active, it must be immediately available for showing, and if not, there is a potential fine that could come along with that. There is a warning first, and then a $100 fine, $200 fine, $500 fine. As we all know, life does happen. You might switch it to active, and grandma shows up, the pipes burst, the tree falls in the driveway, whatever. Property would need to be switched to temporarily off the market and can come back on once showings are available for that. Let's see, you do have one exclusion to that if there is curb offer only language written in the property descriptions. Showing do not have to be available for that. Section 8, as Carrie mentioned earlier, a number of municipalities around Central Ohio have put in place you cannot discriminate based on income type or payment type or how you're going to pay your rent. So we've taken whether or not a property is available for Section 8 off the website to come in compliance with that law. Other REZO changes. So REZO is the Real Estate Standards Organization. They are trying to make every MLS across the country in line with each other and the terminology that we use. So we are making a couple changes. One that's pretty interesting. The currently possession is an open field that you can write in there whatever you want that might be most accurate. It's going to change to one of, it looks like 6 options. One is other, so certainly anything is still possible. Negotiable is an option. See remarks is also an option. Tenants' rights, and this is interesting. We're changing it to close of escrow. So escrow is never a term we use here in Central Ohio. We might start seeing that here and there. Also, the association fee in there is going to be just a drop down on the frequency of it. Right now, it's also an open field. It'll be a frequency. It'll drop down. You have some selections there that'll be all encompassing of different options. We're also making some changes to parking type. Parking type is a very tricky field. We've done a really good job with it, but we're going to fall in line with what REZO has given us, which is 3 different fields. One is going to be parking feature. The first one's going to be garage and closed spaces, exactly like we already have. Can you park 5 cars in undercover somewhere, 10 cars undercover, 2 cars undercover? That'll be just like we have right now. Then there's going to be parking features. And I believe that's going to indicate whether or not there's an open garage, a closed garage, on street, off street, stuff like that. And then there is one other one, which I'm losing in my notes. But you guys will see it in the e-notes that come out and all those great things as we roll this out. Matt will make sure there's plenty of communication on that. And lastly, we made another required field to water source type and also sewer type. Is it public? Is it private? That's a good question a lot of people have, and waiting to look on the disclosures isn't very efficient. So we've made that a required field in the MLS. That'll hit very soon. I believe sewer is already required and water type will be very soon. And with that, that is all I have. I would like to mention, if you're interested in being a part of the MLS committee, we'd love to get your application turned in. There's some information on the membership portal, or of course you can fill out the form that has all the different committees on it and get that turned in. Thank you guys very much.
Thank you, Jeremy and Tony. What we'd like to do now is to bring up Jill Fergus to the podium. Thank you, Jill. Jill is this year's chair of the Columbus Realtors Foundation Board of Trustees, and she's going to give us an update on the impact of our foundation in delivering on its mission. Jill?
Hey, everyone. I'm Jill Fergus, Chair of the Foundation Board of Trustees, and I'm really happy to share with you all the great work we've done this year. Columbus Realtors is a very big-hearted, robust giving organization, and we'll talk about some details. We've accomplished a lot for our realtor family and for the larger Central Ohio community as a whole. President Michael encouraged his leadership team to look to the future and look for a vision beyond. And as we all know, 2021 continued to bring us challenges, but it also brought opportunity to innovate, to reevaluate, and most importantly, to give back. Columbus Realtors and its members continued to lead not just as experts of Central Ohio real estate, but as leaders in the communities we work and live in every day. Realtors are professional advocates. In fact, according to the NAR 2020 Community Aid and Real Estate Report, 82% of realtors donate money to charitable causes each year. That is hugely more than the national average, which is 56%. So we should be proud of that. What's more, 67% of realtors also volunteer at least once monthly, and with a median amount of 6 to 8 hours a month. And that is ginormous when you consider that the national volunteer rate is 6.1%. So we should be really actually proud of ourselves for giving back to the community, not only money, but time. Columbus Realtors Foundation is the charitable arm of the association, and thanks to the generosity of the membership, the organization has invested nearly $2 million into the community since forming in 1991, and this year, $83,000. The program does so many wonderful things. So we actually created the acronym CARES to help everyone remember everything that we do. C is for community grants. As part of the foundation's mission is to support local nonprofit housing organizations and community wellness initiatives that address housing affordability and healthy neighborhoods. This is even more important when the community is in crisis, like it has been. This year, we were able to provide $48,000 in grant funding to local organizations. That supported food insecurity, education, housing, and neighborhood improvement. All that included the YWCA Family Shelter, Homes on the Hill, and the Community Shelter Board. And there are details of all the projects in your packet. The A in CARES is for emergency aid. And that basically is our benevolence fund. Realtors helping realtors, we provided over $66,000 to 35 fellow realtors and their families since 2012. And applying or approaching the benevolence fund is completely confidential. So if you know anyone who is in need, or if you happen to be in need, feel free to reach out. Okay. This year, the foundation was proud to also support the 20th anniversary of the Realtors Relief Foundation. And that is we were an official anniversary sponsor. It was formed in the aftermath of 9/11, and it has provided over $33 million in relief to 108 disaster efforts all around the country to help with housing. And we've been a part of that too. The R in CARES is for Realtor Care Day, and which I love Realtor Care Day. I always have. And later on, we will see a little video of it. It's important to share that Realtor Care Day has invested over $650,000 in support, actual money support, and in-kind volunteer contribution since 2005. Last year, Realtor Care Day was smaller because of COVID. So we were so excited this year to get back into action and do a group event. 500 volunteers came together this year and hosted 23 different projects all across Central Ohio. And in addition to providing $11,000 in matching grant funding to area realty associations, the main project was really memorable. It took place in the Southside Shines neighborhood. And this year, it wasn't very sunny, obviously. It rained, and a lot of paint got wet and ran and had to be redone. But the main project volunteers transformed a community garden, created outdoor spaces for a youth rec program, and helped area residents with much needed exterior home improvements. While all the projects were impressive, we're thrilled to share that this year's Weiler Family Grant Project recipients. And what that is, each year, 1 or 2 projects are chosen to get a special grant from their Weiler Family Foundation. The ones this year were Delaware County Board of Realtors and the North Area Real Estate Association. Each group is going to get an additional $500 in foundation funding for next year's project. Clap. And finally, E is for educational scholarship. We're committed to facilitating the education of future leaders of the real estate industry. The Foundation Scholarship Committee has awarded 5 scholarships to future realtors so far this year, and is currently in the process of awarding even more as part of the fall award cycle. The goal of the committee is to select applicants who the committee feels will be successful, productive realtors and realtors who are a benefit to our association. So far, the program has invested in over 130 future realtor leaders since 2011. And we're happy to share that as of February this year, 64 of all awardees remain active, engaged members of Columbus Realtors. And that's a very high percentage. Okay. Well, actually, I suppose there is one more letter in CARES, which is S, and that's for service. The foundation is only successful because of the members who dedicate tons and tons of hours to serving on foundation committees and events. 120 members have given their time to the program, both in person and virtually, since 2021 and in 2021. And we really can't thank you enough for that. The year has been difficult, and the fact that you've been able to help so much is huge. So many thanks go also to my fellow Board of Trustees members, foundation donors, committee chairs, and Columbus Realtors staff for their hard work. Your support makes the foundation a sustainable, successful agent for change in Central Ohio. And of course, the easiest way for the foundation to maintain viability and to be effective is through tax deductible plan giving. So we humbly and please ask that you consider the foundation in your estate planning. Columbus Realtor staff is always available to discuss the many plan giving options available to you. I mean, Ida is happy to do that. It's also easier than ever to give to the program. As President Michael showed on the portal, there's a button now where you can just click and donate to the foundation. And we are also super happy to let you know that groundbreaking has started on the revamped foundation memorial wall. This is going to replace the sidewalk outside Columbus Realtors that was crumbling and not in good condition. So the new installation will allow the foundation donors a more permanent way to recognize a colleague, a mentor, or a loved one. And we hope to have the final portion of the installation completed in the next six weeks. And then we'll begin accepting orders for more memorial blocks after that. And Foundation Luncheon is coming up. This time it's going to be a little bit different venue. We're not going to be at the casino. We're headed to the Africa Center at the Columbus Zoo. And once you are there, you are free to walk through the zoo also after our event is over. Thursday, November 4th, 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. We'll have auctions, the balloon 50-50 raffle, and other raffles too. So please reach out to a committee member or staff, get your tickets, and then if you would like to donate an auction item, that would be fantastic. So the zoo is smaller than the casino in terms of not the whole zoo, but the zoo event area is smaller than the casino. So chances are it will sell out. So please hurry to get your tickets. 100% of the proceeds are going to go to the foundation, and we look forward to seeing you there. So, and in terms of Realtor Care Day, we do have a video that we will show you, and we'll share the highlights with you. Thanks again. And remember, Realtor Care Day is scheduled for June 8th, 2022. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Amanda Roderick.
I'm Matt Osowski, and we are the co-chairs of the 2021 Realtor Care Day.
Realtor Care Day is a one-day volunteer event that we coordinate for Central Ohio. Right now we are in Southern Orchards working on our main project, which will be helping to improve and beautify some of the community space here. There's a community garden as well as some sports courts. In addition, there will also be 23 area associations working on a total of 44 projects all around Central Ohio today.
This is our 17th year at Realtor Care Day, where we come together as a community and our trade organization to help give back to the areas that we service. And Amanda and I are very proud to be co-chairs of the committee this year.
Hello, we're here in Harlem, working with the Northwest Area Realty Association here on Realtor Care Day. Bonnie has been doing this for how many years? So her and Suzanne are kind of leading the way here. I think this is our 18th project. We usually take a house in Arlington and or somewhere in our group and try to help make it look nice, and the neighbors are super appreciative.
Hey guys, thanks for stopping by at our Realtor Care Day project here. We're in the Linden area. We're on 20th Avenue working with a homeowner that's been living in this home for over 30 years and grew up in this neighborhood and has been here over 62 years. And the Columbus Realtors, we're about generational wealth, specifically building Black generational wealth. And that's the first way to do that is through home ownership. So we are trying to continue to build and maintain the generational wealth for this particular homeowner.
No, I'm just happy to see that the realtors are getting back involved with the Realtor Care Day. I've done it so many years prior to with the realtors, and just glad to see that we are still willing and able to come out into our communities and our neighborhoods to give a helping hand to people and keep our neighborhoods our up and coming neighborhoods beautified, if you will.
Yes.
Brenda Carsey with Remax Realty and also president of the Gahanna Area Realty Association. This property was brought to us by Sabrina Abel, and she had a good friend of hers that lost her husband back in 2014, and the house is kind of needs a little bit of perking up, I would say. I've got 25 or so people coming, and we're very excited and happy for our homeowners.
What a great video. It always warms your heart to see the impact that we have in our communities and with our homeowners and friends alike. So I know everybody enjoyed that. I want to thank everybody for all of the great information so far this afternoon, giving everybody here that doesn't or hasn't been able to actively participate an opportunity to see a glimpse of what your association is doing. I'm pleased to take a moment to recognize all of our 2021 leadership team. These exceptional members take time away from their families and their businesses to organize and strengthen our association. It is with great pleasure that we recognize each one of these incredible leaders. When your name is called, please stand until all names have been called, and we'll do a single applause after that. For the appraisers, Joe Val. Benevolence, David Gill. Broker Advisory Council, Elton Davis. Budget, Finance, and Investment, Patty Brown Wright. Builder Realtor Alliance, Laurie Madowski Shaw and Phyllis Jensen. Business Technology Forum, Brent Saunders. Commercial Advisory Board, Martha Hunley. Commercial Education, David Coe. Commercial Member Services and Membership, Frank Fullen. Commercial Recognition, Dan Sheeran Jr. Commercial Standard Forms, Joe Jackson. COSI Governing Board, Brian Irwin. Corpac Fundraising, Alyssa Pugh Clark and Andrew Roberts. Corpac Governing Board, Bob Miller. Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, Josh Nungesser and Dominique Vasserez. Education Chair, Education, Chris Harrington. Foundation Board of Trustees, Jill Fergus. Foundation Fundraising, Krista Denner and Christopher Hammond. Government Affairs Forum, Carrie Eigel. Grievance, Anthony Macy. Housing Affordability and Community Partnership, Kanisha Cunningham and Brent Dybert. Leadership Academy Advisory Board, Katie Davis Spence. MLS Board of Directors, Jeremy Pape. MLS Committee, Tony Macaluso. Professional Standards, Gary Francis. Realtor Care Day, Amanda Roderick and Matt Osowski. Recognition and Sales Awards, Sarah Marty. Scholarship, Matt Long. Standard Forms, Brittany Eddy. Strategic Long Range Planning, Sue Van Workum. Trade Expo, Carol Cato. Young Professionals Network, Cody Butler, Kira Chapman, and Joshua Uminski. Thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure to stand here and watch all of you make these presentations and see you stand in the audience today, because I was able to choose you all, and I thank you all for accepting. It's been truly an honor to serve with you throughout this year. If you served on an association committee this year, please stand so that you can be recognized for your service. And it looks to me like most everybody in this room has stood at some point or another, so that's really exciting. The last page of your handout today is the registration to sign up for 2022 committees. Remember, this is your association, and your participation is not only welcome, but it's essential in order to shape this organization in a way that helps you and your business. Please sign up today just to give your form to any staff person. Although you do not have to sign up today, if you are interested in serving on an appointed committee, we need to hear from you as soon as possible, as those appointments will be made very soon by our leadership team. We have an outstanding group of members who have already volunteered to chair next year's committees, and they're looking forward to working with members with their input and enthusiasm. Would the 2022 committee chairs here today please stand? 2022, next year. Thank you now, and thank you in advance. So the results are in for the nominating committee. So without further ado, I'd like to announce the members of the nominating committee. I thought that somebody would deliver me a sealed envelope, but I got it kind of under the table there. The following members will serve on the 2021 nominating committee: Gary Cook, Addie Davis Holsinger, Jeremy Pape, Andy Mills, Martha Hunley, Chris Reese, and the following at-large members that were elected here today. And they are Tracy Coe, Joe Jackson, Susan Mullinex, and Jeffrey Wu. Congratulations and thank you so much, as you have a very important task ahead of you. Now, we'd like to hear from you. I don't know, do we have a microphone out there, Marquet, to hear from anybody? There's my man, Alan Jones. You're gonna come right up here. All right.
I will be short. One, take the time to vote. I heard a couple weeks ago on radio that the local elections affect you much more than whatever they do or don't do in Washington, D.C. So look at the things and take your time to vote. It always amazes me how few people show up at this meeting and how important it really is. Also, I hope all you get your shot. I feel you're all friends, and I'd much rather lose your competition via retirement than retiring from life, being not getting your shot. I brought this up 4 or 5 years ago too. We are the only city in the nation that has area associations. The only city in the nation that has area associations. I tried it, I'll throw out a proposal to any board of directors or whatever. It costs, it's amazing how many charitable organizations the area associations give to, how much dollars and everything like that. But people out there in public don't know that. They think if you make if you're a $10 million award winner, you made $10 million in real estate. It ain't that way. So I would propose, and I'll split the cost for 40 for all the 12 areas out there, a back page, and talk about all the different charities that realtors and associations give to. $4,800. I'll cover half of that. But we, as realtors and affiliates, et cetera, give so much to the community without getting credit for it. We need to advertise our charities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. I have missed you. Are there any other comments from anybody in the audience? Any questions, concerns, anything? I guess that's a good sign. Please check the last few pages of your handout for flyers and information about upcoming events and classes. MLS brokers, please come to the front of the room at this point. We're going to begin our MLS meeting, which will start at 4:15 p.m. What time is it, Brent? Okay, so make your way slowly to the front of the room. No rush, but we're going to need to elect. Excuse me a second, I'm not done. Hello. I'd like to thank each one of you for coming today, as well as your support for this year. It's been an amazing year so far. We have the last quarter to round out. Please stay for the member reception, where you can catch up with old friends, network, and make some new friends. Thank you very much.